You can spend 200 bucks to start a cleaning business, or you can spend 15,000. And the people who spend 15,000 fail more often. If you go into this thinking it's expensive, you'll spend money on the wrong stuff. And by the time you figure that out, you're out of money. In the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through what it costs to start a cleaning business, what's worth paying for, what's a waste, and how a few $100 cleaning business becomes a $15,000 hole if you're not careful. A quick note on who I am, because it matters when a stranger is giving you business advice on the internet. My name is Chris M. Walker. I've started and built multiple successful businesses from nothing. I also run a platform that thousands of local service businesses use to grow, including cleaning companies, landscapers, and all kinds of trades. So I get to watch what works and what doesn't. Also, I've never run a cleaning company, and I'm not going to pretend that I have. So what I'm going to do is put the numbers in this video that come from real cleaning business owners and real industry data on your screen, so you can go out and you can check my work to make sure that I'm giving you real information. Start with supplies. You'll need mops, cloths, sprays, a caddy, and other basic supplies. And the industry guides put a starter kit at roughly $300 to $800. So let's call it $500 to be comfortable. And the one thing that I'd pull out is the vacuum cleaner, because it's the one place I'd tell you to actually spend instead of save. A cheap vacuum dies in a few months of daily use, and you'll end up buying two, so buy a good one up front and save yourself the hassle later on. Registering your business is cheaper than most people think. A business license usually costs like $50 to $200, depending on your state. And a doing business as name, or DBA, costs another $25 to $100. And the rules are different from state to state, so check yours before you assume anything, or just go use a service like LegalZoom to set all of this stuff up. Also, you'll need an employer identification number, or EIN, which is free from the IRS, so don't pay anybody for that. Then there's insurance. General liability insurance for a house cleaner costs about $40 to $70 a month, with an average around $44 a month. The first time you knock something expensive off a shelf, that 44 bucks turns into the best money you've ever spent. And then there's marketing, where I save you the most money, because to actually get your first few customers, you need $0 in marketing.
Good job!
Set up a free WhatsApp business profile, generate a QR code that adds you as a contact in a customer's phone, and you're done. Now anyone you meet can scan your code on the spot and reach you. That's your whole contact system, and it costs nothing. So add all that up: cleaning supplies, a good vacuum, business registration, and a month of insurance. You're starting a real cleaning business for anywhere from a few $100 to a couple grand. That's it. It's also not the $15,000 startup some people try to scare you into, usually because they're the people selling you the $15,000 version. It's a few $100 to maybe a couple of grand on the high end. That's the honest number. And to be clear, the danger here is not spending too little. It's spending on all the wrong things to feel like you've started a business. And it's almost always the same three things that I see people spend money on that they absolutely don't need to. And the first one is a website before you've got a single customer. Look, you're going to want a website eventually, sure, but you don't need one to land your first 10 clients. It's just not necessary. The second is branded everything: the logo, the t-shirts, the magnets on the car, all of it before you ever have anything to brand anyway. That's $2 grand that buys you exactly 0 customers. The third is equipment for a company that you don't have yet: the big machines, a second vehicle, supplies for a crew of 5 when it's just you out there. You're buying for a business that doesn't exist yet. People spend money to feel like a business owner instead of just doing the one thing that actually makes them one, which is getting a paying customer. Spending money is not the same thing as starting. The customer doesn't care about your logo.
Emotional, damn it!
They care whether they can trust you in your house, and that part costs you nothing, at least not any money. So the real barrier to starting a cleaning business was never the money. It's a few $100 and one boring afternoon of paperwork. That's the wall that people think is stopping them, and it's just not much of a wall at all. And I'll tell you something else, so you know I'm not saying this from a distance. There was a point about 4 months after I quit my job to go all in on my first business, where I was down to around $4,000 to my name. That's personal and business combined. That was everything I had. So when I'm telling you the cheap path is the right path, that's not a theory. That's me knowing what it feels like to be doing this with a doom clock running and no cushion underneath you. The people who survive the start are the ones who don't burn that money on stuff that doesn't matter. Now, the real question isn't what it costs anyway, though. It's what it pays back. A one-person cleaning business averages a little under $56,000 a year. And if you build a crew, it goes well past that because you're cloning yourself and multiplying that 56,000 every time you do that. The gap between gross revenue and what you actually keep at the end is huge. And that's the whole next video. What a cleaning business really makes solo versus with a team. I'm talking about the take home, not that number that runs through your account on its way out, not the MRR screenshot you see on whatever social media you follow or whatever. So go watch that video next.